So the left-hand one was your before then, John. Okay, now the red line here is basically going to indicate where your left arm goes to. Okay, you can just about see that one on the left has a little bit more acutely to horizontal. Okay, as the club goes back. Okay, you were fearful of that sort of scooping with the wrist as the club goes back here. Now you look at sort of this position here now. You see your left arm was on that red line, and the club's only gone back to there. So you've already created this kind of pre-scoop with that left wrist, which is going to cause the club to not reach the ground. Okay, so because of that, now as you come back to the golf ball. Okay, the arm then kind of keeps going back and forward again. The angle's still there as you go back. Now as you come back to the golf ball, the knees start dropping. You kind of got away with that, but you can see the arm there as it comes through, how much kind of your head sort of went down and dropped. The arm sort of scooping a bit through. Yes, it was a reasonable shot, but that was like your 7th or 8th shot where you kind of got a good one, okay? Not very consistent, and again, just look at that. You look very cramped and tucked up there, to be fair. So what we're trying to do is feeling a little bit more right hinge in that wrist, okay? We're looser in the grip as we go back to here now, okay? There's kind of your left arm, or left forearm, so to say. The club now has gone back of that, so we're creating a bit more angle in that right wrist. As we then come through now, we try and hold this angle. You can see as you come back to golf ball, the hands have going to come back to sort of same kind of position. Ideally speaking, could be a little bit further forward, but just looking at your sort of pre-movement here now as you go through this way compared to that one there. I mean, that looks like you're really sort of holding on for dear life. Don't thin it, don't stuff it in the ground, don't quit on it. At least that one there's a little bit more of this going on, and just control with the arms. Yes, there's a little bit of a twitch and impact, but if you can practice that 1 yard chip or that 2 yard chip, where you basically swing the golf club kind of here to there, just doing sort of small swings there, a little bit of wrist hinge, just bop it forward. Feel the weight of that club just falling on the back of the ball. Do all those drills that we discussed, the one we said about the you sort of swing the golf club back to here and then go, oh, I'll bring the club back to here and then back to there and then back to there and then back, and just to start controlling that club, making some different movements so you and that golf club become more and more in tune, rather than please don't thin the shot and then you just jab it. Once you lost that confidence with that club, you were playing that shot with that famous word of don't, but everybody said don't step in the ground, don't quit on it, don't thin it, don't, all these things, and it gets worse and worse and worse. Okay, so if we can get that sort of movement better, a little bit of hinge on the way back as we said, and keep things moving through, I think you can see some of the chip shots now looking a lot more smooth in transition here, as opposed to kind of everything kind of going down. Oh, look, your arms are pulling in and and this is one of the better ones, if I'm being honest, to be fair. So some of the first couple, you saw a real kind of like knees going and the flick of the right hand and everything sort of just stopping here, and the fear of not quitting on it was just causing the club to be just flicked past. Okay, get a bit of right wrist, palm down, palm the target, palm down, palm the target. That kind of feeling as you go back. And I say, if you can practice some of these 1 or 2 yard chips in the living room, and like I say, get your camera, put it face on as the camera is here, sort of face on there so you can see. You go back here, boom, go through. And what we're looking for in an ideal world would be, if I sort of go through to this one here now, was your left arm kind of more there. So your right arm is the red line, and the club on your left arm will be the green line, You tend to have a little bit beyond where it should be, okay? But that'll come with practice of just doing this, of how that right arm swings across your torso. If I stop it here now, this right wrist takes over, the elbow takes over, one of the two, and you scull it, thin it, and duff it, John. So does that make sense? Yeah,
it does.
Some things to work on. I say it's not going to be one of those things we click our fingers and it gets better, or so it gets perfect. It's certainly getting better. There's definitely some shots there that looked a little bit more resembling a chip shot, should we say, which is a confidence thing. Once you see sort of 4 or 5 or 6 shots looking okay, then you'll start learning to control that club face. And again, it's just to control the face, control the right wrist with your arm and the body, and just make some different things. Move the club here, move the club there. Just try and just change it about. Can I do this? If you're loose, you can do it. If you're squeezing on for dear life, you're never going to do it. It's going to be a jerky and jabby movement. As I said, the example of someone's right foot on the accelerator, an inexperienced driver, youngest kid or whatever, it's either no acceleration or woo, they rev it. You and I have been driving for obviously a few years and stuff. We can kind of like go a little bit of pressure, 1,000, 2,000 up, and so on and so forth. It's not a complete rev to the max and then nothing. Okay, learn to control that feeling with that right wrist. Okay, good man.